Following program has been rated GE by the Kenya Film Classification Board. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Hello viewer, welcome to Chungu cha Jamii. My name is Betty Akuku. I am your host today, and I have guests in studio, a lady and a gentleman. Today we are going to be tackling a very, very important issue, and I want your ears here. I need you to watch stuck on your TV this moment. We are also on YouTube Live. You can watch and find this episode right there. GBS is a TV station that I know you love because it brings you programs and episodes that you enjoy watching that are so educative. Today we want to learn about something about men. Men go through pain. How can we help them to deal with this pain? All we have known, dear friends, all this time is that men are not supposed to speak out, they're supposed to keep to themselves, and they're supposed to cry in the toilet. Please introduce yourselves and let us take this home. I will start to the lady.
Good morning, viewers. My name is Sharon Muhindi. I'm a counselor, psychologist, and I counsel all ages and in all aspects of life.
Okay, welcome, yes. Sharon, to the show.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Good morning, viewers. My name is Emmanuel Kariuki. I am the Executive Director of Freedom in Christ Ministries, Kenya. And yeah, I've had the opportunity of being in the space of all walks of life, numerous human beings, but lately I find myself, spending time with men and mentoring and just having conversations and walking them through life.
Good. Welcome and nice to have you here today.
Thank you.
So we're talking about helping the men deal with pain. As a man, I would like to give you the opportunity to first tell us, before I go to the lady, I know it's supposed to be ladies first, but you, the man, is the one we are focusing more on today. Do men go through pain? Because all we ever had is that we never saw tears of men. I don't know where they cry, if they ever do. Do they cry? Do they go through pain?
Mwanaume ni kukaa strong. Men do go through pain.
Oh, really?
Men do go through pain. They go through pain a lot. Men actually do have emotions. We have been taught by society not to express them. So what we do is we hold them in, and it affects us on the inside. So yes, men do have pain.
And do they cry?
Yes, they do. I have cried on many occasions. I am admitting. I have cried on many occasions, but we will never cry in public in front of people.
And crying doesn't make you not man enough?
It doesn't make me not man enough.
Okay,
no.
Good. I hope someone had.
Yeah.
But not crying in public.
Not
Sharon.
crying.
Have you ever had, or do you believe that men go through pain?
Yes, I do believe that men go through pain.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Just physical pain, as in they are sick. Do they have some emotional pain as well?
They go through physical pain and also emotional. Yes.
How do they process their pain?
For men, by the time they realize that they are in pain.
Oh, they never even know from the beginning.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. It's when they can no longer tolerate it. Now that is the difference between the men and the women. Because for a woman, for example, like you, Betty, you can be stung by a mosquito and you will feel the pain.
Yes.
But for a man, what will he do? Suck it up and move on. Yeah. So by the time they realize that they are in pain, they're already destroyed. They are hurting.
Wow.
Yes.
Why do you keep your pain?
Well, the way we are wired is we internalize everything. We don't talk through it. The way we are wired is, I'm a solution provider, and it has to make logical sense to me so that I can be able to deal with it and find the solution to it. So talking to somebody, it's very hard for me to go and talk to somebody. So what I do is I internalize it, I process it inside, and I will think, and the only day you will hear about it is when I've actually found a solution to the problem.
Ouch.
Yeah.
When you have found a solution.
When I found the solution.
So when you don't find a solution? It kills you.
It struggles. I mean, I'm sure for both of you who are married, you will have noticed that you ask your husband something,
Yes.
and he will say, "I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking," and it's
And
until
you think forever.
and he'll think forever, and it's until he has found a solution.
Yeah.
then you will
Why?
hear
Is
him
it
talking
for fear
about
of
it.
failure? What is the problem?
I don't know if it's for fear of failure.
Uh-huh.
I just feel like in society we feel like we are solution providers to society, and that's the way we are wired. So what happens is we can't show the weakness aspect, so we'll do whatever it takes to figure it out first before now we can present it before everybody. You know. So,
Wow.
So
Why do
then,
you think men do behave like that? Being a counselor.
First of all, ego. They don't want to
Ego
hurt
will
their
just
ego.
kill you because of ego.
Yeah.
You'll just die.
Yeah, and also coming from our culture, being a male-dominated society, and they were told by their fathers, you have to provide the solution. You have to be the man. Men do not do this. Men do not do this.
They don't cry.
So you
They
will
don't
not
break
hear,
down.
you'll not hear a man going to his fellow men to talk about what they are going through.
So who are you supposed to talk to?
that's a good
Where
question.
do you find the solution?
That's a
Where
good
are you
question.
supposed to-
Tell me so that I can go and talk. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not that you do not, it's not that, it's actually that you do not have someone to talk to.
No,
Is that it?
I actually think we do have lots of opportunity to have conversations. But I think for a man to be able to have a conversation, first of all, the setting that has to be set is a safe space for him to be able to, one, even just become vulnerable, to share what he's feeling deep inside.
And in that safe space is a woman in it,
A woman can be in there.
in that safe space.
A woman can be in there because I am married. I would hope that my wife, I can share this with her. And it is my hope that even as I share with her my weaknesses, my vulnerabilities, it will be received well, and I will be affirmed or be supported to be able to go through it. Now, the problem comes when a man shares and you make some remark like, that easy thing. That is the last time he will open up to you.
But I mean, if it's easy, it's easy. You could just be deceived in your
That
mind
will be
that
the
this
last
is a really
time.
difficult
That
thing.
will be the last time he will open up to you.
Oh my goodness.
It's just the same thing. Like
I think that men are so difficult. Why would you keep
I
something?
don't think it's men who are difficult. I mean, it's just if you reverse it for a woman. If you asked me, honey, do I look fat in this? And I say, the moment I have that doubt, what does it do to you? You start thinking about, hey, maybe I'm fat, maybe nini. You start dieting, and me, I was just saying, even if I was joking, there's something that it does to you, and you start thinking, I'm not beautiful, maybe I'm too fat, maybe I'm not what, and it just takes you down this downward spiral. And I guess it's the same thing for men on this side. When it comes to their vulnerability, they are very, very sensitive about it. And they like it to be guarded with everything. And it's almost like only another man can actually speak into their lives. And it has to be a man who knows or maybe has gone through a similar thing. So it's, to get that space is very difficult because we are all very busy, and then there's no that time where somebody's asking you the hard questions, like, hey, how are you doing? I don't remember the last time somebody asked me that.
Oh,
It's like,
really?
most
I
of the
thought
time.
that is a common greeting. People greet you, hi.
No, but
Emmanuel,
guys,
how are you doing?
Guys ask you, hi, how are you? But they're not asking you for how are you?
Yeah.
You get.
I get it.
And they're not creating a space where let's have this conversation. So I feel a lot of men miss out on
Someone
that.
taught me something, they call it pouring the heart.
Pouring
I used
the
to
heart,
wonder,
yes.
how do you just go and pour your heart? As in you remain without a heart, or what does it mean? Have you heard of such kind of statements?
Yes.
Oh, you do?
I've
So
heard,
what
yes.
people lack is the place where they can pour their hearts. That's safe space.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sharon, if men go through pain, at least we all admit and agree. What you said, ego keeps them from showing it.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it is noticed when it has already destroyed them.
Yeah.
When men go through pain, how do they process it before they get to that level where they're now destroyed and we're just counting pieces? Yeah. How do they process the pain?
Some of them can process it through the behavior that we actually see. Because I normally like looking at the example of an iceberg. What we see is only the tip, but what is beneath, we do not know. And the tip is only 10% of it. So that is the behavior we see. We can see that there's projection, there's others engage in drugs, others in sexual immorality, pornography, masturbation, and all sorts of things. Now, there's also the positive side of it.
Those are very terrible things to just do because you're processing pain and you can't reach out.
Yes.
You can't stretch yourself to talk to somebody else.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that is really weird. What do you think about that, Emmanuel?
You see, we think they're terrible things because for us, society, that's what society has told us, that these are terrible things.
They're not.
And with Christian morals, they're actually not good things. However, these not good things give you temporary highs that make you or take you away from that particular space that you're in at the moment. Watching the pornography, masturbation, for a moment there, you're in another world that's not where your pain is, a world that's giving you pleasure. When you're drinking in the bar with your friends, it's numbing your pain. When you're taking drugs...
But when you get back to being sober?
Well, the pain is still there. They are temporary reliefs, but again, they are reliefs. They are reliefs that are helping you at the moment. So she was about to say there are also some positive ones.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, okay.
Now, others now will go to the extreme, of course. Now, the positive side, which is if they are workaholics, they become workaholics. And also that can be positive or negative, because now if you're a family man and all the time you spend in work, now the family will suffer. Others will take that pain, probably do their hobbies. If it's exercise, you're always finding somebody in the gym or working out. It's because of that pain.
Just because they cannot talk about it?
Yes. Not because they cannot talk about it, but they do not have the
solution.
The solution, yes.
Or
And
even
I'd
the
ask,
avenue.
where should this solution come from? Who should provide it? And how are they supposed to deal with this pain? Because if pain is inevitable, then they better get a way of dealing with it when it comes, Unlike women, I think women just vibe and vibe and vibe, and somehow, as they do that, they're easy, But for the men, you say this is how they are wired. Isn't this very dangerous for the family and also for the society, given that these are the solution providers for things that are happening?
It is very dangerous. In fact, in every culture, every society, you'll find that the lifespan of the man is 10 years less than for the woman. That's partly because of how we internalize and hold things inside. So yes, it's very, very dangerous. But I also feel that where we have messed up in society is, we were speaking earlier on in the green room before we came out, how the girl child is being empowered. You see, for you as a girl, you're told so many things. You go here, we even have baby showers for you, we have bridal showers. There's people talking in your space, constantly. So there are things that things that you do. For guys, first of all, our culture right now, families are so broken, dads are not present. So dads are not being able to speak into the life of the boy. In society, the boys assumed that he's already, got it going on, like society is made for him. So no one pays attention to him, and no one is having conversations with him. So the only things you get to hear is, like if my mom spanked me, she'll say, "Mwana mzima unalia, hebu acha nani, men don't cry." That's the first thing we are told.
Yes.
So we are taught to hold it in. We are taught to hold it in. The statement I began with in the beginning, "Mwanaume ni kuwa strong." We are supposed to be strong and show our strength, and it's deemed weakness talking. It's deemed weakness sharing. It's deemed weakness being vulnerable. So from a very young age, this is how I've been conditioned to think. So by the time you're telling me I need to pour out, and the day I realize, again, it's way too late. For me, it took me being on a hospital bed to realize that I need to have conversations.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just talking.
Just talking.
Hey, talking is so healthy. Women continue talking.
Very.
It's healthy.
But you
To
see,
spare you the
for
stress.
women, the way we are wired is
Natural.
women have 1 million words a day, while men have 500 words a day.
But
Yeah.
when you speak, when you're so squeezed and tight and in pain, I mean, your 75,000 words, whatever, that could be one of them. That could be one of them.
Well-
What really hinders you, other than this safe space? Is it possible that you will just live your life without having this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 persons? Then you can actually tell and say, you know what? I have worn this shoe the whole time. It's too tight. I can't have it the next time.
Well,
Where are these people? Is it that they are absent? Don't we even have pastors? Don't we even have counselors? What is the problem?
we do. But you see, the counselor is already a barrier. If I'm going to see the counselor, it's because I have issues.
Yes.
And no one in society wants to be seen
Yeah.
like they have issues. So in fact, I just feel going for counseling is the best thing ever. But whether you have issues or not, because you get to talk, you get to process things. But the moment I hear my sister here is a counselor, we will have regular conversation. How is your day? Oh, the sun, but no issues, because I don't want my issues to be out there. So one of the things I would say for men is to get into a group of accountability group that you can actually have the right conversations and call each other out on things.
I'm thinking, Sharon, after you have realized in your time of duty that this is how men are, this is how they process the pain, like they literally go out drinking and getting engaged in masturbation and watching pornography, things that they wouldn't do in the presence of their children, in the presence of their families, in the presence of even their friends. These are things that need you to lock out yourself and do it. But before you get there, after realizing that this is how these men actually process the pain in their lives, how are you helping them? How are you helping them?
We are helping them by listening to them. Like Pastor said, rarely you'll get somebody who asks you, how do you feel? How do you really feel?
It's so rare.
Rare. It's very rare. Yes.
Okay.
We are also encouraging them to be in self-help groups.
So what do people do with their friends?
Well, you can correct
just
me if
hang
I'm
out and-
wrong. But most of the relationships are superficial. Like they don't talk about their feelings. It's not how I'll come to you, Betty, and tell you, Betty, this is how I'm feeling. For men, there's still that barrier. Yes. So we need to continue encouraging them, uplifting them, upholding them. If you're married, the wife, listen to your husband. Yes. Because wives, what do? We also block them out. We don't encourage them.
We don't provide the safe space.
Yes, we don't provide a safe space. We don't affirm them. And these are the things that are going to help them to be vulnerable. Yes.
Wow. Emmanuel, how are you helping the men now that you interact a lot with them and you can see how they're processing their pain and you actually acknowledge that it is not the right way?
Yeah. I think one of the first things is to help them to realize that there's many other people going through the same things that they're going through. And it's not that just them. There's this tendency as human beings, we feel like we are the only ones. This issue is my issue, and it's just me. And for the men who I have the opportunity of coming into contact with, I always, try to share like, yeah, I really identify with that. Just so that they can see, somebody else knows what it is that I'm going through. And I tell them, yeah, there's so-and-so who does this, so-and-so. So what that does, it is opens them up to realize, okay, there's someone else going through, then maybe I need to talk to somebody. Once they get to
that should be done because if they're not going to voluntarily come out of themselves and speak, then somebody needs to begin that conversation. There's need for such forums. Like you just call men and your topic will be like, so today it's a men's day, or are we going to write? Are we going to speak? Being seen by other people. I don't know if men have such kind of issues where they cannot stand up and say, my husband beats me, I slept hungry last night, I borrowed this, Maybe women are more easy to talk about things like, I'm going to borrow shoes, I'm going to ask so-and-so to host my kids for this time because I don't have this. But men, do they have forums where they can actually say, I need to borrow a suit, I am going for, a wedding somewhere. Do they do that?
I'm sure there's somebody out there who has done that. But some of the men that I meet, we don't. If we don't have it typically, we just either if we can't hire it, then it's okay. We'll stay without it, or we'll not show up for whatever the event is.
And why don't you just ask?
Why?
What are your friends for? What are the men's friends for?
Yeah,
I mean, when they meet, I thought like men spend a lot of time out of home with their friends. What is it that they talk about?
I don't know if they spend a lot of time with their friends. They spend a lot of time
on their own,
fighting for the house in terms of trying to win bread for the home. So whether it's with friends or not, it's only much more lately that I'm hearing men being intentional about hanging out with another man. Typically they wouldn't. Typically they'll be out and about, focused on what they need to do, and
to do their duty,
to provide before they come home.
But now those who are staying late in the pubs, those who are doing games like up to 3, someone is still playing golf. I mean,
well, I'll tell you, the thing about the pubs, which I've come to learn quite a bit, is the pub is the realest place you can be. Unfortunately, it's even more real than the church. It's an unfortunate thing. At the pub, I can go, I can drink, and when I've loosened up, I can say whatever it is, and no one will judge me. They'll be just like, that guy is Mempata, and there you can talk anything, politics.
It's a safe space.
It's really,
and no one will victimize you.
And also, it's a place that you run away from whatever issues that you're going through outside. Not necessarily just family, but even the stresses of work, just the stresses of life. Maybe it could be your parents are unwell, or family issues. It's just the safe space where you go and you can drink and you can just zone out, and you'll be just you, no one disturbing you.
Unfortunately, when you sober up, the situation is the same.
The situation is still there.
Sharon, look at, when talking about men, we're not just talking about the elderly men or the men in the families, but we also have the young boys, the 17-year-old, the 18-year-old. I mean, someone has hung up on you. A chick you had a crush on someone, and then they just said, no. And then this man, instead of just being objective and sober and handling it in the right way, they go committing suicide, and they just go and do I'm sorry to say crazy, because now you say those things are not stupid, or they're not petty, they're not, as in they're so important to you, the things that you do. What are you supposed to do with this age? Someone has dumped you.
I think for that particular age set, for them, for example, they are dumped and they go committing suicide or engaging in the crazy things, the drugs or whatever, there are other underlying issues. That is not the reason why that they have done whatever they have done. So what are these underlying issues? What has this boy grown up knowing? Has his self-confidence, has it been boosted by the parents? Is he encouraged? Does
How
he
do you
know?
boost self-confidence in a son who you can see is growing? He's 13.
Yes.
The next day he's saying hi to a girl and he's checking whether mom is checking or
Yes.
dad is checking.
Yes.
You can
Yes.
already see that they know something. How do you boost self-confidence of this son? Because what you want to do as a parent is you really want to caution.
Yes.
My friend, should I see you again?
Yeah.
Next time I find you,
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. How do you boost self-confidence of such a child?
Appreciating them. When you see your son, for example, approaching a girl, that is something commendable. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes. So as a parent, you're supposed to appreciate them. But of course
They
now,
have their confidence and bold enough.
even whatever they are doing, it is not wrong. It is right. Yes. And also
Counseling is very
in our
strange, I think.
African culture, we also need to come to a place where we are able to talk about these things. Let's not hide.
The problem is not even the current parents.
Yes.
This thing came from our parents. We were parented by parents who believed that these were the wrong things to do.
Yeah.
You were supposed to be gotten from a family and just snatched, like you have been taken to this home, you're going to be a wife in that home, we
Yes.
have brought you a woman.
Yes. Yeah.
So how were parents supposed to change overnight and now begin to do things differently and now say, okay, it is okay for my son to be saying hi to this girl all the time, working together and spending time, and you're even saying more, you need to commend them. That is a good thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Who does that?
It's one of the hardest things, because as adults, it's really hard to learn a new behavior, to relearn what you have known for all the years that you have lived, and now you start learning a new behavior.
I know.
But also, we need to be able to accept change. Change is very painful. I always say the person who likes change is a baby in a wet diaper, because they are calling for that change, But for us as adults, it's very hard. But once we open our minds, we start learning, because we can't live with the mistakes that our parents did. It's time for us to step up, to learn, to relearn new things, that we can be able to bring these people together, bring these boys together, hold them, walk with them, because it is from that tender age that will determine how they will become in future. Yes.
Emmanuel, you have sons 18 and that age. Do you ever see them go through pain? Or do they hide it from you? They've already started hiding pain this early. Men are...
Well, for me, I feel like I was very fortunate that I learned to constantly have conversations with them from when they were very young. So that has helped me quite a bit. I always have been intentional in being the one who initiates things and not wait for them to come to me with a certain thing. So the conversation about drugs I have had with them. And when I had it with them, I was very real with them. I said, don't let anyone ever tell you that drugs will not make you feel good. Drugs will make you feel good. However, these are the consequences if you take drugs. Don't let anyone ever tell you sex is not good because you will experience it, and when you experience it, you'll start abusing it. So understand that sex is very good, but do it in the right context. Find you the person that you love, marry her, go through the right channels, and then you can have sex for the entire rest of your lives. And it'll be a beautiful thing. So I've had these conversations with them. So for me, they look at me and, okay, this guy is real. He's not lying to us. So they're very open. They ask me any question. And they look up to me. So sometimes they can't wait to come home to ask a particular question because they know they have somebody they can have a conversation with. And I think for us parents, it's also very important to realize that we need to tell people the truth. Drugs are bad, yes. But if I keep telling you drugs are bad, and you don't know why they're bad.
You'd want to try it out by yourself to confirm.
It's just the natural thing, If I tell you guys don't look there, what's the first thing you do? You'll keep, and then you'll keep thinking, what is there?
And so you want to look at it.
And you want to look at it.
So did you see them actually go through pain at any one time?
My oldest, a little bit more than the other ones. Because for him, he was a little bit older when I started having that conversation with him. He was about 7 years old when I started having those conversations. But the other ones I've started since they were babies. Having conversations, asking them how their day was. Anything happened that made you feel bad, tell me about it, let's talk about it. Why did it make you feel bad? And allow them to process it. And I said, you know what, it would have made me feel bad too. So they just say, oh, okay, so I guess I'm normal. And yeah, so just
because you don't distance themselves from the pain.
I'm not distancing. I'm not making myself look like this superhuman who they need to live up to, because I feel like for us we were suppressed.
I know.
So we are learning things on the go. Unfortunately, when we're getting into marriage,
and sometimes from our children.
Yeah.
Sharon, in your counseling duty, did you meet with young adults who went through pain in their lives, and what had caused the pain?
Yes. Yes, I have met young adults who go through pain. Yes.
What is the major cause of the pain?
80%, 80% comes from family.
From family?
Yes, and like
family?
Emmanuel is saying, the parents are not available.
Ouch.
See, like for him, he's intentionally making it
Ouch. Did you say
a reality.
80%?
Yes.
They go through pain because of absenteeism in the parents.
Yes, yes.
You
so intentionally
I thought
be
you were
there
going
for
to
your
say
children. Yes.
Relationship.
No.
They were dumped.
No. No. That's why I said most of them are underlying issues. And the grassroots of it, we go back to family.
Parents give so much pain.
Yes.
What pain? They don't give money. They don't buy crepes. They don't buy bicycles.
No, maybe just to support her. As a psychologist, you get to learn about human development.
Yes.
So it's said within the first 6 years of your life, your personality is formed. So in between 0 to 1, when your child was suckling, how you treated them will determine how they respond in life. When you are potty training your child, how you treated them determines a lot. After the stage of potty training, when they were, now noticed the opposite sex, and if you had a son and he's just saying, "Mom is everything," how you responded and related with him determines how he'll relate with women in the future, and how a daughter relates with a father, determines. When they go to school, the way they deal with the society and how they build their social skills and how they're encouraged or how they're treated then, it determines a lot about how they will be, in the future. And if some of these things are messed with, then guess what? From early teenagehood, then children are struggling. Just think about how the family is set up today. How many people are in single parent families?
A lot.
I'm doing so many marriages right now where both of them were in single parent families. So automatically, for the boy, if the mom wasn't there, then there's something that is missing with his relationship, you know, or that nurturing, whatever, with the, you know, for my mother. For the girl, the dad, you know, is missing that authority figure, that role model that she needs to look up to, that person who she can see will love her the way she, you know, she will love her.
Yeah, I thought everyone is looking for love. Everyone is looking for warmth and comfort. And this is why this has come to me as a surprise, that parents are causing the better part of the pain in the young adults. And you are confirming this. And so what do you tell them? And what kind of pain are the parents causing? Like I asked you, is it that they're not providing what the boys need or the girls need? What is it that is causing them pain from the parents?
The pain that is caused is emotional pain. It's not physical, it's emotional. I can use an example of myself. I've been raised by a single mother. My father was not around. So growing up, later in my life is when I realized I was carrying so much anger and anguish of not having my dad around, which led me to doing things that, you know, that were not good. And like I said, it's the behavior that we see. So I was an alcoholic, yeah? So you could only see the behavior. If somebody came and looked at me, they would just judge me based on what they're saying. But deep down inside, I was suffering. I was in pain. Yes.
So when these young adults and the youth come to you and they have so much pain, especially the men, how do you help them to now come out of it? Especially now you're saying it is caused 80% by the parents. Do you tell them to go back to their parents and have conversations? Though it is too late to have conversations, what do you tell them? How do you help them?
We offer counseling. Now we get the patient together with the parents. So now we start treating it from the whole perspective, holistically, not just one person. Because you can treat the child or the boy, but the parents are not there. He'll still go back to the same place, and then it becomes a cycle. Yes.
Do they also process pain in the same way like adults do? Like we had said earlier, that the men would go committing adultery, the men would go drinking, the men would go doing masturbation, pornography, and such kinds of things, overdoing the negative things. Do they also process pain in the same way?
Yes, they do.
They do?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And where does that leave them, given their age, since they do not have families, you know, already? How does that leave them? What kind of people does it make them to be in the near future?
We'll have men who are not confident. Their self-esteem has been destroyed. We hear of cases of young men who are committing suicide. We hear of others who have been, even boys who are 7-year-olds, 10-year-olds, engaging in pornography.
Ouch.
Yes.
You had mentioned earlier about the parents boosting the self-esteem of their children. And one of the things you were saying is that if you found your son, like saying hi to a girl, you know, as a mom, you want to shout and you want to get there with a stick and you want to spank, like, what are you doing here? Don't you know you're supposed to be studying? You haven't done ABCD and you're doing XYZ, you know. How do you boost self-esteem in that scenario?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
First of all, you need to acknowledge that times have changed. Technology. It's unfortunate, but times have changed. How we were raised, if my granddad found me with a boy at that age, I think the boy would be poured on hot water.
I know.
Yeah, but right now you can't do this. And if as parents you don't do that, they'll go to the internet.
Yeah.
And the internet will become their parents.
And it's very
so you better
accessible.
do it as a parent.
Yeah.
Yes. It
So
is
you just
tough.
affirm them.
Yes, you
just
affirm,
affirm them.
yes.
Emmanuel, have your sons ever come, or if not yours? Now, being in your position, you have met with a lot of people. You have married off a lot of couples. Did they ever go through pain? Did they share with you? What was the major cause of their pain? And how did you need to affirm them?
Well, I guess just to reiterate what Sharon has said, is you have to first of all find out the underlying issues. So every couple that comes to me, you know, I'll always ask them how they met, tell me the story of how you met. So they get into it and tell you, then they loosen up. Then I slowly begin asking them questions about themselves, you know. Long before I ask a story about, you know, their marriage and where they're headed to, I'll ask them, so tell me about your family, where do you come from? You know, were you guys born in Lavington, or did you grow up in Umoja? So now they begin telling you things. And as you keep on engaging them in this conversation, things begin to come up and you begin to hear stuff. So by the time now they are talking to me about whatever issues that they may be facing, you know, I'm able to tell them now, listen, you know, I want you guys to remember, sometimes we are wired the way we are based on things that we have experienced and things that we have gone through. You know, for your sake, you know, I remember you said that, you know, your parents were like this, they were absent. So for you, you feel like in your relationship, you don't necessarily have to be there because that's what you saw. You know, you say, so you talk to the other one, you say, for you, I feel like this is what you went through. So when you get into this space, this is what you're expecting, you know, and it's valid, it's very valid. But what it's doing is it's clashing with each other, and you guys need to figure out and find out a medium that, you know, will help both of you, you know,
That
have
means
a
somebody
working,
drop the stuff.
yes, have a working relationship. And you remember, like she said earlier on, it takes an adult much more to change. And we have this tendency, we'll do it for a short while, but we return to default setting, you know, because that's the setting we're used to, that's the setting we're comfortable with. So how then can you get them to a place? So what I try to do is tell them, I do not want you to change, because that will be a Herculean feat. You can, if you put your mind and whatever to it. However, what is it that are the common things that you both share that you can begin to enhance so that all the other parts and all the other aspects of the relationship can also experience the same. So that's what we try to do. But again, it's important to understand the foundation, where
These things
you
are
came
coming
from, what happened, you know, so that you also understand, okay, and it's interesting, as you point these things out to people, then they're like, oh,
They now get it.
They
And they're
now
not
get
bitter
it.
with themselves.
So they're not bitter with themselves. So it becomes easier for them to forgive themselves. It becomes easier for them to understand, okay, so what do I need to do? In counseling, they tell you, don't provide the solution. Help them process until they give you a solution.
By themselves.
By themselves.
Oh,
Yeah.
really difficult. Sharon, I want us to give solutions, actually. Today, we'll put aside this one because everybody needs to process by themselves. You already said that.
Yes.
But we need to give solutions because we already have a problem. Once I learned from someone that problem is a problem when you do not have solutions for it. But as long as there's a solution, that's not a problem because you just need to fix it. There is a solution. But when there's no solution, too bad. So I believe that inside here, there is a solution for the men who are processing pain, especially in the negative way. Because we have discovered it's detrimental. We need to help the families get back to shape. The young adults, the 18, 19, 20s, I wonder how they're able to do their schoolwork with that kind of pain and how much it affects them. And I wonder what they get themselves into that can eventually even lead them into deadly diseases. And they're still supposed to be family men or the solution providers in the family. How do we help this kind of men?
I would say counseling.
Okay.
That would be my number one. Counseling helps because when you come to a place and it's a safe space, you're able to pour out your heart. I, as a counselor, I cannot judge you. I'm not supposed to judge you. So you'll be able to pour out your heart. There are other ways. There are so many things that are coming up right now. There are forums. There's Man Enough. that is really helping a lot of men, and they are able to come out, and we can see men changing. Also, as a person, as a lady, as a man, mentor these young men. Let's not just talk and we are not doing anything. Take a group of 2, 3, 4 boys. Imagine if all of us, we were to do that. We'd have different men in the society. At times I see, like in our church, they normally have breakfast meetings for men. And the number of men that show up is huge, because now with this space, men, they meet other men and they're able to realize, oh, so I'm not alone who is going through this. There are other people who are going through this. They're able to learn and share from one another. Yes.
What kind of help do you think they need now that you are the type of people who just internalize and you're not known to talk out?
Well, one of the things I strongly believe is the solutions that you need for life are within you. It's within you. However, sometimes because of, I guess, maybe the way we view things, we might not see the solution. And I think for men, it is important to tell men that it is okay to talk. Talk about the issues that you're going through. It's okay to share the issues. And I think for parents who are out there, I would encourage them to get their children in a, especially boys, to have, the new name for it is Boys Club. It's the new name for it. To get
a boys club.
A boys club where, there's somebody being able to speak into this boys club and allowing them to, to call out the greatness in them, call out the man in them, call out even the love that they are supposed to lead with. Just call out every aspect of the man out of this young man.
Good.
Yeah, so I have a couple of friends who do that, and I've seen it change so many.
The lives of many people.
Yes, and I think there are generations that will be so much better because of that.
I need you to give your last words, rather your parting shots. And particularly, I would like you to speak to the parents, because 80% of pain in the men coming from parents, very sad news. Please do that.
Yes. I would like to tell the parents, let's love, let's encourage, let's affirm our boys. They are the pillars of the society. And if you do not do this, we are all nothing. So let's uphold them, let's uplift them.
Cool,
Yes.
very nice. Emmanuel, your last words to whoever. You are the man, you can speak freely for
Awesome.
0 minutes.
I think for me, when I speak to the man out there, I think first of all, it's for you to understand the software that you were created with, and that's one, to be a leader, to multiply, and to have a purpose, and to raise a family. So in understanding your software, it's important for you to place yourself in spaces that will allow to bring that software out that God created you for. And in doing that, in living out your purpose, shall you find that you have less pain, that shall you find that you have, you're able to even talk to other men and express yourself in a better way. For me, that's what happened when I started living out my purpose. It became easier to talk. I'm not worried about what you think or what you think, because I know I'm living out and I'm being the person that God created me to be. So it becomes easier to have the conversations and the right conversations to be the man that He has called me to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This has really been good. I hope that the men and the women also outside there have been able to listen. And the women are now able to provide safe space, especially for their sons and for their husbands, to be able to pour out all that is inside of their hearts. Thank you so much, guys, for coming. It has been nice to have you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, viewers, also for watching this episode. It has really been awesome to have you watching us and learning a lot of things from this show. You got it, that you don't lose being the man. by just speaking out. Your ego doesn't go down by just speaking out. You don't have to be so much concerned on who is listening, who is watching, who is doing what not. Just be yourself and let the software that is within you come out. Thank you so much. My name is Betty Akuku. I have been your host. See you next time.